Happy Wednesday and welcome into episode 7 of the Navs Nation podcast. I'm with Gus Balo again. I'm Nick Perenick back here for episode 7 for you. And this episode, as always, is brought to you by our sponsor, Remax 360 Real Estate Office. Whether you're looking for a home or looking to buy or sell or just curious about the local market, Remax agents are dedicated to making your real estate experience memorable and enjoyable. So make sure to call Remax 360 at 781-593-7611. And that office is located conveniently on 85 Exchange Street, Suite 302 in Lynn today. I now welcome in Gus Balo, the voice of the Navigators. He's on the road tonight, actually going out to Keene, New Hampshire, as the Navigators will take on the Swamp Bats. This is being recorded kind of over the weekend into the week, but this will be released on Wednesday prior to our home game against Keene. But Gus, you're headed out on the bus right now. Welcome into the show.
Thank you again, Nick. It's good to be back on. Yes, I'm on the bus. So I'm not sure if the listeners can tell or not, but we're heading to Keene, New Hampshire today. This is a Tuesday, and this will go out tomorrow before we host the Swamp Bats on Wednesday. But we're heading out there today. The Navigators will be looking for another win. They've won 3 out of the last 4, and we'll get into those games in just a moment.
Yeah, if you want to just recap the last week, it's been a action-packed week of Navigator baseball, and looking forward, it'll be even more action-packed as the Navigators will have 4 home games in this week into the 4th of July weekend, those being on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. So a lot of action at Frazier Field this week. But to recap last week, on Tuesday, the team fell to Vermont 3-1, but then responded with a nice 11-10 win over Upper Valley, the first place team in the North Division on the road Wednesday. Jose Aquino was big in that one. He had 3 RBIs with a double. And cleared the bases there to give the Navs the lead. And Gus, you were at that game up at Upper Valley. What did you see out of the team?
Well, they had to come back. I mean, it was an 8-3 game at one point, and it just looked like it was going to be a win for the Upper Valley Nighthawks. But the Navigators clawed their way back into it and really dug deep and just found ways to win. And that's what they've been able to do at times this season. And we saw that again Wednesday. And then you head into Thursday. They beat Winnipesaukee 4-0 at home, a little homecoming because they were on the road for the 3 games prior. Then they lost to North Adams 8-4 on the road at North Adams. And then they beat Vermont this past Sunday 3-2 in extra innings. They walk up by Joe Lamuscio. It was a walk-up infield hit. He was just able to get in there before the throw was made. Dylan Brazil was the winning run that scored. So the Navigators have won 3 out of their last 4 coming into Tuesday's game against the Keene Swamp Bats.
And looking real quick back at this past Thursday's game, in the 4-0 win over Winnipesaukee, Jackson Emus, the Princeton righty, was huge for the Navigators. He pitched 7 scoreless innings, had 7 strikeouts, and was named the NECBL Pitcher of the Week. And really did a good job, like just resetting that bullpen and making sure our arms were ready to go for North Adams and Vermont. And then looking forward to this week as well.
Yeah, they're gonna have a busy week this week. Again, the 2 games at Keene, and then they'll be back home Thursday against the Vermont Mountaineers, and then they'll be on the road at Keene again on Friday before 2 home games for the 4th of July weekend. So a lot of home games coming up for the Navs, and after being on the road the previous week, I'm sure it's nice to have a few home games, so not quite as much travel coming up for the Navs in the next few days.
Yeah, and some of the standout guys from this past week, we talked about Emus, we talked about the powerful hitting and the timely hitting of Aquino, we talked about Lamuccio's timeliness as well. But some other guys on this team that have been really stepping up and shining lately. Logan Bravo with a nice solo home run. He also scored the first run of the game in that game on Sunday against Vermont. He's been huge for the team as well in the past game.
Yeah, Logan Bravo has been huge. Had that home run against Vermont on Sunday and has really found himself into the lineup. Another standout performer that has been notable as of late is the man who we're interviewing on this week's edition of the podcast, Cal Christofori. He's had a great season for the Navs so far and looking to continue that the rest of the way. And, we had a great interview with Cal. We recorded it actually on Sunday, moments after the walk-off win. So the energy was definitely high and a lot of happy faces at Frazier Field, but was still a great interview nonetheless with our guy, Cal Christofori.
Yeah, and without further ado, we'll pass it off to our interview from this past Sunday with Cal Christofori, the catcher for the Navigators.
We now welcome our next guest to the Navs Nation podcast, Cal Christofori. Christofori has been one of the 3 main catchers for the Navigators this summer and has also received the most playing time behind the plate. The Belmont, Massachusetts native played 4 years for the Yale Bulldogs. Despite not having full seasons in 2020 and 2021 due to the pandemic, He stayed composed and managed to play summer baseball in 2020 and now this summer. Before the pandemic, Christofori had 240 for Yale in 2020 and also had 375 in his freshman season back in 2018. Christofori also earned 13 varsity letters at Belmont High School, playing hockey, basketball, and football in addition to baseball. As a recent Yale graduate, Christofori will head to Santa Clara University in sunny California for next season using the extra year of eligibility granted by the NCAA due to COVID-19. As for the summer, however, Christofori is looking forward to the opportunity to have a chance to play as the Navs progress to the 2021 season. Welcome to the show, Cal. How are you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me on, Gus. I appreciate the intro. It's a pleasure to be here and looking forward to this episode for sure.
Yeah, you're episode 7 of the Navs Nation podcast with Cal Christofori. So going into the season, how familiar were you with the Navigators and the NECBL? You had some previous experience with the Navigators playing against them, but what is it like playing for them now?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, I was in the Futures League last summer with Brockton, so I have some experience with the Navs, and I knew some guys on the team before coming in, and it's a local team. I'm not from far away, so I've heard of the team. As I said, have some buddies on it, so pretty familiar, and just pumped to be here.
We're also recording this the day after, or actually the night of the win on Sunday against the Vermont Mountaineers. 3-2 in extra innings. How did it feel to get the first extra innings win of the season?
Yeah, we been battling in extra innings lately, but it was awesome. Our last game against the Mountaineers was a pitcher's duel again. So when Joe got up there, I think second and third, 2 outs, bottom 10. I kind of knew he was gonna end it there, and he snuck one in the 5-6 hole, beat it out, and it's his second walk off of the year. So I'm happy for him and happy to get the win going into the off day.
Were you familiar, Cal, at all with any of the guys on the team from, high school, local guys playing against them, or any guys from college? I know you have some Ivy League guys, 5 Ivy League schools represented. So who were you familiar with, and who did you get to know a little bit better throughout the first couple games of the season?
Yeah, I mean, especially the Ivy League guys, it's, not a massive league, so everyone's kind of familiar with each other, even if you don't, know them personally. So, I knew who, most of the Ivy League guys were: Joe, Logan, Hunter. I know Mara and Matthias and Jay and Emus are younger guys that, since we've had some seasons canceled, I didn't know them as much. But, it's awesome to get to know those guys a little better, kind of share some stories. We're all kind of going through the same thing. And I knew Looters before coming in. I played against him in high school. That I think that's it really.
So, Cal, you talked about you obviously were at Yale. Your experience, what was your experience like at Yale University? Obviously, your last 2 seasons were cut short due to the pandemic, unfortunately. But talk about the bonds that you created, and you're obviously just graduating from there. And what was it like competing at an Ivy League institution?
It was quite the experience in a lot of ways. Challenging, stressful, exciting, fun. But overall, it was pretty rewarding, and I kind of learned a lot about myself and about others just by being there and having the opportunity not only to attend a school like Yale, but also get to compete in college athletics is something it's been my life's honor, and that's awesome because you're traveling the country, you're playing teams everywhere, down south, out west, competing on at the highest level, being Division 1, but also grinding it out in the classroom and learning how to manage your time and do the work when you don't really want to at times. So it was a massive learning experience for me. Wouldn't trade it for anything, and just being on a team and kind of going through the same stuff that your guys are going through was awesome. And those are guys I'll have for the rest of my life for sure.
And, it's funny, you might not know this, but I knew you in high school because Coach Q, your high school football coach at Belmont High, was actually my homeroom teacher at Mattanon High School. Yeah, so I heard a lot about you, a lot of Monday morning talk about you and the team, but it's actually wicked funny. So what were some of your favorite memories from, playing under Coach Q at Belmont High? I know you played football, baseball there. Anything else for the Marauders?
Yeah, no, Coach Q is awesome. He would always come in and he was an English teacher, as I'm sure you know, so he would, be correcting our grammar and stuff on the field. But outside of that, he was awesome to play for. High school football was awesome. I, miss it to this day. And, Coach Q just, enhanced that experience for us, brought the energy, made us want to show up every day. And, it was a pleasure, playing under him. And I didn't even know that. That's funny that we got the mutual Coach Q connection. But yeah, no, he's awesome. And he's been a massive help, for me and, throughout the process in high school and stuff like that as well.
So you talk about, you obviously played 4 sports. What was your favorite game in any sport that you had in your 4 sports? You played basketball, hockey, baseball, and football. If you had to pick one game from your 4 years, if just, anyone that comes off the top of your head, what is it?
That's tough.
And I kind of put you on the
Yeah,
spot.
no, I would say in general, like the Thanksgiving Day football games were some of my favorite memories. Although we didn't have as much success as I would have liked, just that atmosphere was Thanksgiving morning playing your rival. That's something I lived for back then, and will remember those games the rest of my life. But probably my favorite game was I think Belmont hadn't won the Middlesex League in 26 years, and we played Reading in the last game of the season. I think we won 6-3, 6-4, or something. They've had our number my whole career, and it was my senior year when we finally it was the winner take all, and we finally broke through and beat them, and that win kind of put us in the Super 8. So I would say it's that one. We got to play in the Super 8 after that, and finally beating Reading, who had our number for so long, felt good, and it was a good game too. So I remember that one for sure.
And then one question just to kind of follow up. How difficult was it playing 4 sports in high school, but also having to manage your schoolwork? Because you're a very good student. You went to Yale University, so it's not like you slacked off in school or anything like that. You had to stay on top of it in the classroom. So what was that like? Because playing 4 sports is not something you hear very often.
Yeah, no, it was just kind of that's what I was used to, and it was kind of school, sports, go home, do your homework, and if you have some time to hang out, that you can hang out. But if not, like you do it again, and I enjoyed sports was kind of my free time, if you will, and so after school, 2:30, go to practice, enjoy whatever sport you were playing, and then it's like, all right, come home, have dinner, and do some homework. I oftentimes would toss on a game or something in the background and just take my time. But that's kind of how I got through it. There wasn't a ton else. It was that's kind of my routine. I got used to it, and honestly didn't know anything else. And so I just kind of worked as hard as I could, and things worked out half decent in the end.
So let's transition a little bit. You started out in the Cape League in 2019. That was just right after your sophomore season with Yale. You got to play in the Cape League, which, is we all know, is a renowned league throughout the country for baseball, and great talent. What was that talent compared to like past teams you played on or past teams you've played against, and so young in your career?
Yeah, no, that was an awesome experience that I got to have. I got to go up at the end of that summer and, get some time up there, which was unreal. I mean, growing up, in the Boston area, that was a dream come true for sure. Going to the Cape every summer on vacation, going to those games. So, those kids are unreal. A ton of talent. Top end guys. There's kids I've played with that have gotten up there as well, and it's the top end guys, and it's a massive challenge. And it was just an honor to play up there for the time I had.
Yeah, and then the next summer,
Mhm.
then COVID comes around, and then kind of wipes the spring season, if you will, in 2020. But then you got to play for the Brockton Rocks. So you went to the FCBL, the Futures League, the team
Mhm.
that played the Navigators many times in the last decade or so before the Navs transitioned to the NECBL. So after the pandemic cut the season short, what was your mindset going into that Brockton season? Because obviously, not having played baseball in
Yeah.
like 3 months,
Yeah.
it's obviously not the easiest thing.
Yeah, no, I was so I wasn't originally supposed to play in the Futures League. I just, like, all the leagues around here were getting canceled, and the Futures League kind of stuck it out. So um the story was, I think it was around mid-April, I picked up a job landscaping because I needed to get out of my house and there was nothing to do, and it was a pretty safe option to make some money and kind of pass the time because things were pretty locked down. And probably around like late May, like I was like, oh, the Futures League might happen, da 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 da. So I was like, I'll shoot out some emails, and like, not shockingly, everyone was booked. And then like within a week before the season, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be able to play. I'll just work out and make some money and do what I normally do. But then Brockton gave me a call and we're like, hey, like I think one of the guys that was supposed to play for them got signed. And so they're like, hey, we need a guy. And I was like, yeah, like I jumped on the opportunity. I just wanted to play. And so going in, it was like I went from, landscaping to, oh, I'm now going to play in like a little bit of competitive league. So that I was more so just enjoying being out there. And, you know, the pandemic was even more crazy than just, it was a shock as to what was happening in the world. So I was like, the fact we get to, play 40 games here in July and August, that was it. I wasn't worried about anything else. So, that was awesome.
Same thing happened with me. Like pandemic started and I didn't know what to do for work. So I landscaped, but unlike you, I'm not a D1 baseball player. So I landscaped some more and landscaped some more, but no, it was a good job and it gave me some money and passed the time as well. Were you guys on Nesson at all when you were with the Brockton Rocks?
Yeah, we got that one Nesson game, which was cool. I think it was against Worcester at our place, and and Nesson was looking to fill some time slots as well. So that was definitely cool. Got to have all the cameras there, and I think my mom probably recorded it or something. So got to watch
That's
and
awesome.
pretend like we were on the Sox for a day.
That's awesome. Obviously, a great experience last season in the FCBL. The Navigators beat the Nashville Silver Knights on Nesson last year in early August, but a great experience nonetheless. So is it weird at all now to think that you played against the Navigators last year? Is it kind of weird to be like, oh, I'm now playing for them? I know it's a different league, but is it kind of weird at all a little bit?
Honestly, like not really. Like I think just the nature of summer ball, it's like, especially we have like a pretty local team just due to the situation we have. And so honestly, not really. Like I kind of know these guys. I knew them when they were playing against them last summer, and it's not the same dynamic as like college and really trying to beat each other because you have buddies on every team you're up against. It's more for the experience. And so as much as like you're playing against the Navs last summer, now I'm on them. It's a pretty seamless transition, and the familiarity with the guys is the main reason for that, probably.
Let's talk about 2021 heading out to Santa Clara now, transitioning for next year. What made you want to use that extra year? A lot of guys are for sure, but what made you want to go out to California for another year of ball?
Yeah, I mean when the season got canceled my junior year, I was like, everyone's like, oh, are we gonna get this year back? Da 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 da. Like it was mass confusion, and they ended up giving it back. So going into my senior fall, I was like, I want to use it. I'm still young, and I wanted to play 4 years in college. So in that fall, I was like, I'll see what's out there, and if things don't end up, then I still have time to make plans following graduating Yale. And I got lucky and had the opportunity with Santa Clara, and they were talking to me the whole way. I felt real comfortable with the situation. The coaches are great guys, and being from Boston, going to school in Connecticut, my family and we were all kind of like, hey, like if you have the opportunity to go to California, experience something new for a year, also play and get a graduate degree, that's a no-brainer. You should do it. And it was a pretty easy decision to take advantage of it, and definitely looking forward to that change of pace and another opportunity to just play.
Obviously, and another chance to play for sure. Are you excited to maybe play in some better weather too? I mean, New England, it's very unpredictable weather. California is a little bit more consistent throughout the year.
Yeah. People always talk about the weather. And for me, I was like, yeah, like at first I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't know, like it snows sometimes and it's nice at like whatever, but I think it will make a difference because I'm remembering the February practices where there's snow piles against the fence at our field back at school, and it's freezing cold, and kids just want to get out of there. So the more I thought about it, the more I realized when it's like today, it's a lot easier to play. You have much more opportunity to get out on the field and get ready for your season and stuff like that, not be stuck indoors. So I think that's a massive factor that I'll definitely enjoy.
Before we transition into talking about a little bit of this year with the Navs, um, Since I've transitioned into my new role with the team a little bit as doing on-field promotions, I have more time to linger around the field. And tonight I actually met your whole family. I met the whole Christofori clan. I met your mom. I met grandma. I met Uncle Frank, Aunt Christine, and they were giving me a lot of notes about you. So before we go any further, I have a few things to rattle off here from messages from your family. Just because, why not? I'm sure you hear this from them plenty of times, but your mom, first of all, said you need a haircut. You got the luscious locks going right now. I said you can't cut them, but she said she used to give you whiffles, and now you're very defiant against the haircut. Any statements against that?
Yeah, honestly, the more my mom nags at me, the less I want to get a haircut. So I just figure I'm wearing hats every day. Might as well just keep it long.
That's funny because your mom says you're too cheap for hair gel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing for the Navs. I don't have a job, so if she wants to buy the hair gel, she can.
That's too funny. And I talked to there's some other things on this list I can't really get to. A couple things that I wanted to get to though, 2 in a row right here. New Haven Pizza versus Camellas, because you're a Belmont guy. I used to go to Camellas a lot. They said you loved New Haven Pizza. What do you rank it in terms of Camellas versus them? Because I know you used to work at Camellas, and they said you would have gotten paid in pizza and been happy about it. So what do you think about that? That 2 different types of pizza.
Camel's was good, but New Haven takes the prize. Yeah, I like Pepe's, Frank Pepe's, but Sally's is up there too. Those are the go-tos.
Another thing that I can get behind, I think it was your cousin who mentioned that, you talk a little bit about golf. You've been playing golf with them a little bit, and they say you're kind of a deep thinker, and you thought about the game of golf. And I like the way you think because you think golf should be 15 holes because it's a little too long. I am with you. I think it should be 7 holes, right?
Wow.
Because I'm not a good
7.
golfer, right? And I have ADHD, so I can't be out on the course forever. I say the first 3 holes, get your bad swings out of the way. The last 4, settle in. But get out on the course, go out there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I think those 4 hours and 18 holes are way too much.
Yeah, I think the 3-hour sweet spot's good for me. I mean, golf's a social event for me. So, the first 9, you're enjoying it. Then, you start the back and, you're like, oh, you get to 12 or 13. And I'm like, I don't need another, 7, 6, 5 holes here. I'm good with 2 or 3. So, yeah, I'm on board.
I like that. And now we'll head back into some baseball conversation. Those are some great questions from Nick, getting to talk to the family. And obviously great your family can come to games, obviously because they live close by in Belmont. So back to the season as we wrap up this edition of the Navs Nation podcast. What are you most looking forward to getting out of the season? And when you're all said and done, is there anything you are looking for and, taking to Santa Clara this fall?
I mean, a couple of things. The first is just getting back on the field. Unfortunately, the Ivy League had a 2-year hiatus. So, this is our first game action since, March of when the first pandemic first started. So, coming in, managing expectations, just trying to get back in the swing of things. And, more so than anything, not worrying about the performance, just building on every day and being a better player at the end than I was at the beginning, and working hard and learning from the failures of it. Getting help from the guys on the team and hearing what they do to get better, hearing what they're thinking out there in the batter's box and whatnot, taking tips from them. And the main goal is to notice an improvement from the first game to the 43rd or whatever it is. I mean, that's the main thing, and I think if I do that, I'll know I've done all I could and kind of be confident as I segue into a new school and going out to California.
Okay. Well, Cal, I got to say thanks so much for coming on tonight. We had a great interview with you post game. We kind of held you a little late, but it was great to have you on. And then we'll let you get out and enjoy tonight's win. And we'll see you back on the field Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. A lot of home games this week. But thanks so much for taking the time to talk to Gus and I.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for all you guys do. I appreciate it. And, I'll see you Wednesday. It's been a pleasure.
Well, that was a great interview with Cal Christofori. We had a great time talking about many different things, as you heard on the podcast. And what a great man that we were able to talk to this week on the Navs Nation podcast.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Cal. He's a great guy. And I got to meet all of his family at the game on Sunday, which was great. Aunts, uncles, grandma, everyone. And then, it was just great to talk to that family and talk to him a little bit and everyone about, his time at Yale and now going out to Santa Clara. It's definitely going to be an interesting transition for him moving across the country, but I think he's going to thrive and do very well there. we now look ahead to this week, Gus. Like I said earlier in the podcast, 4 home games this week, including the weekend of the 4th of July. We start that off with the second game in a row against Keene at home on Wednesday night. That should be a great matchup, followed up by another rematch with Vermont on Thursday the 1st.
Yeah, it's going to be great. A lot of great matchups coming up. We have the home game on Wednesday and Thursday before being back at Keene on Friday. And then we'll have 2 home games over the weekend on the 4th between the Winnipesaukee Muskrats and the Sanford Mainers. So that should be a lot of great baseball coming up for the Navigators, and looking forward to seeing what the team can do.
Yeah, heading into this month of July now, I'm just really excited to see these guys, because just being down at the field level and just even being up in the press box, you can really see this team start to gel. And, they can really make a lot of noise. It's like those games we talked about with Upper Valley, where this team can come back and claw their way back and fight back. And the resiliency they've shown all season long has been very inspiring. So I'm excited for the month of July and to see what kind of push they make as we push towards the All-Star game weekend, that being the 17th and 18th down in Newport.
Yeah, it's definitely coming up soon. But we will finish up this episode of the Navs Nation podcast. This has been episode 7. For Nick Paranek, this is Gus Balo signing off. And we look forward to seeing you next week for episode 8.